changing some things here. Okay, I'm also live on YouTube. So this is my first time doing this recording podcast live here, live over there. So I hope I can keep up. um, oh my God, that's so pretty. That's so lovely. Yes, I know it's pink moon. I'm not sure if it's exactly because it looks pink. I know that those names are. That's so beautiful. I cannot see it over here. It's cloudy in Calgary. So we sadly won't be able to see it. But yes, let's get into the meanings of this full moon. Um, I would love to answer questions. So if you want to either here on the YouTube or over here on the Instagram, feel free to drop your questions. So this is a full moon in Libra. That is basically what is a full moon. Let's start there because I know that sometimes astrologers get like all used to talking about in astrological terms, and people are like, what? So, what is a full moon? A full moon happens when the sun and the moon are in opposite places. So, that's something that becomes really obvious when you notice that. Have you ever noticed? Actually, I should ask this question. Have you ever noticed that the full moon will appear at sunset? Like it always comes up when the sun is setting, so that means that they are exactly in opposite places in the sky. So what that causes astrologically is that we have almost like a connection between opposite signs. So in this case, we're in Aries season, and so Aries is this fire energy of spring. No matter where we are in the world, it's still symbolic. It's the archetypal energy of new beginnings, of springtime, of start the fireworks of Aries. And on the other side, the moon is in the opposite sign from Aries, which is Libra. So Aries tends to be all about the self, tends to be all about what I need and what I want. It's this self-awareness that is enhanced in the Aries energy. There's a self-focus that is natural to Aries. And on the other side, Libra has a more other focus that is natural to Libra. So here we have immediately highlighted the polarity of self and other, right? And something that is characteristic of this point in time of this beginning of 2026 is that we have a lot of Aries energy. No matter being in the Aries season or not, we still have a lot of Aries energy. And this is because we have three other planets in Aries right now. And we will still be there for a few more months, at least with three more. But we got years of more Aries energy. And if you want to know more about that, um, it's about Neptune and Saturn that are just starting there, so that they still have a long time more to develop the Aries energy, which is the energy of knowing what I want, is the energy of independence. It's the energy also of something really interesting, guys, that I've like, I really want to talk about this because it's just been pretty evident already, like in this and this 2026 so far, is that we've had kind of like a highlighted masculine energy versus, I don't want to put it that way, but it's almost like this, the rage of the feminine is just like really up, and the masculine energy is kind of like up for discussion, and it's up for um reassessment and evaluation. And a lot of that has to do with, I believe, the presence of Neptune and Saturn. On the one side, Neptune dissolves and it's in this Mars ruled sign, which is Aries, which represents our masculine energy, no matter our gender or our sexuality. The Aries part of us, or the Mars part of us in our astrology chart, will have a masculine, or I could also say yang energy to it, right? And in the collective, I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but oh my God, hello everybody. Like, I want to say hi to everybody arriving, but yeah, I'll just like do a few last ones. um, yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's almost like this conversation, especially with the Epstein files, right? And like other situations popping up. We're really observing deeply and talking about and analyzing and questioning and reframing what is the masculine energy. And that does not apply only to men or self identifying men, that is for every one of us, because we all live in this context of the patriarchal society that we've been in for a long time. So regardless of what we think about that or how we see that, um, it is this Aries energy that is being restructured, is being reframed, is being reimagined. We are re um, visualizing what that is. So we're just in the very beginning phases of this. And I think that even though, yes, the conversation is important, that talking about the things is important, we've also noticed a lot of, or I have noticed, um, like a growth in this sense. Some people having really angry conversations sometimes, hello, and other people just really, I've loved seeing men talk about the perspective of women and women talk about the perspective of men. I feel like that has been kind of really beautiful to see because it speaks of our collective healing, right? Anyway, so these are important themes. These are large topics. These are beyond just Aries season, right? Neptune's going to be there for 13 more years, and Saturn's going to be in Aries for 2 more years. Um, so, anyway, back to the full moon. The full moon is such a small moment in time in comparison to these larger themes, right? Um, so, the full moon is in Libra, and I was mentioning Saturn because it's actually quite connected to Saturn. So, Saturn is very close to the sun in this full moon, not so close, but it's close enough to be significant. The influence of Saturn brings this heaviness to the themes of relationship, the themes of what do I want in the relationships, is being rebuilt. So when Saturn enters a sign and therefore an area of your chart, so that will depend on your rising sign, of course, where you have Aries in the chart. And parenthesis, if you want a free resource to understand that a little better, if you go to my website, it pops up the subscribe to my newsletter pops up. And so, and when you subscribe, you get the guide. You get a free astrology basics guide. So it includes information about the signs, the planets, and the houses. So you can kind of like figure it out on your own, depending on your rising sign. The Aries part and the Libra part will be somewhere in your chart. So Saturn has just begun. Saturn has just begun a process here in that area. Hello, hello. And it is restructuring this area of our chart. So it's only starting right now. So what that means, or the way I see it, is the direction we are taking in life, the decisions we are making, that is what's being rebuilt based on what we really want. So, based on the newer information we have, based on the healing work we have done, um, about connecting to our truest path, our truest, most authentic way of living and being, and therefore making every single decision in our life. Aries is that seed of life, right? It's that beginning, it's birth, it's the very incipient start of everything. It's the first sign of the zodiac. And so our direction is based on that initial seed of life, right? We don't just like make random decisions in life. We make them based on a truth that is essential and that is beyond sometimes what we even are aware of. It's just so basic. It's so raw and primal and just core, at the very core of our being. So how we relate to other people is also changing inevitably, because if we are becoming more aware of what we really want and our true path and what we really are doing here, basically that is clearing, it's clearing that path. It's clearing it off conditioning, clearing it off what we have thought we have to do, what we have believed because we have been told, right? So the healing process there has been led by Chiron, by the way, which is has been in Aries for already 8 years, and it's actually leaving Aries this year. So this is kind of like a layer of this process, and now come these other two planets. Astrology is complex, right? But I am trying to make the best here to simplify this for you. Basically, we are taking more concrete steps right now this year in building a more authentic way of life, and daring to do so. The courage element is key in Aries. It's the lesson of Aries is being courageous to make decisions that are true to ourselves, right? That are not betraying me and my needs and what I really want because it will bother other people. So that is the dichotomy of Aries and Libra, is that there is a limit to where to how much I allow others to influence my decisions, right? There can be some great advice from people, but you still have to own the responsibility and have the courage to follow your own path based on who you truly deeply are. And this deconditioning is something that we're just like, that is unfolding, is something that we are experiencing collectively. And so Saturn being there so close to the sun, well, like I said, not that close, but like close enough, is bringing this grounded assessment to this full moon in Libra. It's bringing this grounded, realistic, down to earth sense of where I am at in this moment. So I would love to know if anybody wants to drop comments, if you've had any relational situation these days. If not, eh, you know, not a big deal. But that's one of the elements that makes this full moon be very concrete. It's not fluff. It's like, no, this matters in my path right now. Things are serious now. I am building a life based on what I truly want. Okay, I have a question here. Hello, my sun is Aries, moon in Libra, and rising Capricorn. Okay. Um I can totally say, well, you are a full moon in Libra. This is a full moon that is the same as your, or very similar. I don't know the rest of your chart, but it's very similar to your chart. So um the topics, the things that I am talking about right now can be themes that are present throughout your life more pervasively, like more permanently, more than just this one moment. You may feel or sense exactly the same thing that I've been talking about, this dichotomy of like how much, because I care. The moon in Libra tends to care emotionally and in a so on a soul level, or some astrologers like to say on a subconscious level, right? It's emotionally disturbing to have conflict with other people. So the moon in Libra tends to prioritize peace and harmony above your own needs. But also, you are an Aries, so there might be like this feeling of that constant dichotomy there. So this full moon might be highlighting that theme for you. I don't know if that makes sense for you. It's almost like what everything I'm saying here is kind of like highlighted for you in constantly in your life, kind of thing. At least that theme of like the self and other, and finding that balance and finding those boundaries and those delineating those, yeah, the how much do I allow, how much can I negotiate. Now the Aries energy balance with the Libra moon, it's actually pretty amazing, because then there tends to be much more clarity about both sides than somebody having only Aries or only Libra and strongly in their charts, if that makes sense. Um, so another element that makes this full moon, another element that is very important in this full moon, is that Venus is the planet that rules Libra, um, and it is currently in Taurus. So it was in Aries for a few weeks, and now it's already in Taurus, but it's early, very early in Taurus. And because of that early positioning in Taurus, it is having a very um quite close, quite tight, conflictive aspect with Pluto, which is the planet that represents the unconscious. So this is a very, very important thing. This is a very important thing happening here during this full moon, and because this is a theme that kind of like unfolds throughout the year. This year, later in the year, the themes that are coming up right now, in regards to relationships and me and others and balance and keeping the alliances that feel nurturing, and evolution of our relationships in general. This theme will continue throughout the year. In June, Venus opposes Pluto, and then later on, when Venus goes into Scorpio, in it'll happen between October and November, Venus will go retrograde, and it's going to be doing these aspects to Pluto. So this is something that kind of like continues throughout 2026. And these dynamics of Pluto and Venus are profound. They are, so when we talk about the unconscious, and this is a message for people that are growth oriented, right? This section of this podcast is for people that are intentionally doing self reflection. Okay, like doing, uh, asking themselves questions in terms of not everything is other people's fault, right? Like that are self aware or have at least a desire to be. So Pluto can be tough in that sense. Pluto can be just really, it just does not hide things, and a full moons reveal. I have a book of Pluto back there. I just noticed, it's right there. um Full moons are revelatory by nature, so full moons will expose, and what is being exposed here is the theme of relationships, the theme of peace and balance and harmony in our lives. And um and with Venus in Taurus, it also kind of like ties it in with the feelings of self-worth. So the topic of how much self-esteem I have. So how much appreciation do I have for myself, for my capacity to be resourceful? How much do I allow myself to receive in terms of abundance, and money, but also praise and just like feeling valued, whatever, however that looks like. And this is tied in with the theme of relationships. So it's like self-worth, relationships, and then this situation with Pluto, which is a square, by the way, right now. And it's bringing up truth. It's bringing up things that might have stayed under the surface, and the exact, that aspect is not quite exact yet. It will be in a few days, but it already is very highlighted and very present in this full moon that's happening right now. And so, what is coming up? What is coming up? What situations are just like exposing something for you? And again, I highlight the message of this is for people that are wanting to grow, because if not, like what happens is that these situations just present themselves unpleasantly. They just present themselves as conflict or present themselves as just like discomfort. And not that people that are wanting intentionally to grow from the experiences of life don't feel uncomfortable, but it's more like they can flow with them more easily, in the sense of accepting that this as a lesson for me, accepting this as something that is showing me something that I need to learn. And that will depend on each and every one of you. It will depend, again, where do you have Aries and Libra, or how much Aries and Libra do you have in your chart as well. Usually, more Libra oriented people will struggle with the setting of boundaries, and will struggle with the people pleasing side of things, or will struggle with even finding their path or making a clear decision, because they don't want to like rock the boat, or don't want to like stress other people, and because the concern is overly on others. That's definitely me, by the way. So I understand that side of things. I have a south node in Libra, so I am learning Aries in my life. I am learning to be more direct, more assertive, and all of this. So how is this presenting itself for you? How is it presenting? Are there any truths that are just coming up to surface in terms of your own understanding? Like, it's really important to highlight that relationships are always involving more than me. So it's always me and somebody else, right? There's always at least two, because uh, we cannot have a relationship with just one, although you can have with yourself, but then we start looking at parts, right? But there's always different pieces of the puzzle that are connecting. That is a relationship. And so it's very important to highlight that you are responsible. You are responsible, no matter the situation. You played a role in it. No matter what happened, you did play a role in it. And I know that this is not like in some cases this could be seen as like victim shaming. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's like you do have a responsibility, even if it is to set boundaries to other people in your life, right? Even if it's that is your responsibility, right? So what is being presented to you? And if it's not that, are you being the one that needs polishing, or needs more caution, or needs more of a boundary of your own actions and decisions when it comes to relating to others? Are you trespassing other people's boundaries, or spaces, or respects, or you know how is this presented for you will depend on who you are. It will really depend on you and who you are. So that is something really important of this full moon. And this Pluto Venus square is transcendental, and I think it'll. I mean, I don't think it just continues to unfold throughout the year, and I'm really, really curious about how this will echo towards during the month of June, when Venus and Pluto are opposed, and then later on when we have the Venus retrograde at the end, at the last quarter of the year, that will happen between Scorpio and Libra. So again, the theme of Libra will come up. Again, the theme of Pluto, because Venus will be squaring Pluto again in her retrograde. It'll go over and over. I think it's going to happen 3 times, I believe. Yeah, it will. It will square Pluto 3 times during the retrograde. So whatever themes are coming up right now, whatever you can do to gain more awareness yourself, that will pay off. Like it'll make further experiences easier. And I know that I am not perfect. Life is difficult for all of us. Relationships are difficult for all of us. Peace is difficult for all of us. Like, it's just a matter of looking around where we are right now in the world, right? Like, it is a challenging theme because Libra is not easy. Libra is a cardinal sign. If you do not know what that is, every cardinal sign in the zodiac is starting a season. So they are active signs. They are action oriented, and the action never ends. It's a constant movement of cardinal signs. So Libra is constantly trying to build harmony. It's not a stable, immovable thing. Peace is something that you have to maintain. Peace and harmony is something that changes every second. The way of the scales is constantly changing, and uh and the needs of the different parts is constantly changing. And so it is not something that is easy to attain. It requires work, and it requires patience, and it requires us to be constantly willing to upgrade ourselves. So that is something that is very highlighted in this full moon right now, with the what I was just telling you about the Saturn part and the Venus square Pluto part. And something else that I want to add about this full moon is that we have a very helpful situation. Those are the most challenging pieces of it. But we also have a very helpful situation going on between water signs. So we have a beautiful trine between Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury's in Pisces, Jupiter's in Cancer, both water signs, and they are having a harmonious conversation. Meanwhile, Jupiter is in the middle of the full moon, so it's kind of like the sun and the moon are here, and Jupiter is in the middle, so it's doing this with the sun and moon, um, which means that the emotions can be particularly higher. The tide can be higher. But there can be also a lot of meaning to be found in the vulnerability of expressing those emotions. And so, if relationship challenges appear, right, which is likely given the theme of this full moon and all of it, all the things that we've been talking about, given a challenge, given a conflict, given a situation, it is highly, highly, highly helpful to allow ourselves to be vulnerable in that situation. And not only that, but allow the water to flow. So whatever is coming up from the unconscious, whatever is coming up, say it's like, for example, I have allowed myself to accept way too much from this situation, and now I'm angry. Now I'm angry, I'm losing it, because this hit my limit. And so how can I find the origin? So Pluto can be your ally. Pluto is the unconscious and brings stuff up that was hidden, right? That was unconscious. Unconscious means I cannot see it. But can Pluto be my friend and show me something that then I can allow to be talked about, to be out in the open, and then release it? Like, why am I allowing my boundaries to be trespassed? Why did I do that? Why did I stretch my my capacity and to the point that I got angry, right? Um, why didn't I speak up for myself when I should have, right? And these are frustrations that we can internalize, hide in our subconscious, like hide from my awareness, and then start blaming other people because I don't want to take responsibility for this. So, this is how our mind works. This is how um, the unconscious operates. And that's Pluto. That's the Pluto function, is allowing, whenever Pluto is doing anything, it is allowing ourselves to see something that was hidden in the shadows so that we can work with it. So that beautiful water trine between Mercury and Jupiter. And Mercury is the planet of communication, by the way. So what that is saying is, yes, allow the waters to flow. There is possibility for reparation if we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and also to be open to the vulnerabilities of others. um in the best of expressions. I think that's the best of expressions of this energy, in a not so good, or whatever, I don't know how to put it, in a not so constructive way. This can just mean that it's like an emotional overload, and a vagueness in the conversation, instead of being able to be intentional. When we are not intentional, the energies express themselves in more chaotic or not non-constructive ways. So that can just be like overload of emotions that don't really lead anywhere. Same with Pluto. Pluto can be that agent of revelation that like shows us stuff that was hidden in the shadows, and that is very useful for us to, if we are growth oriented people, if we want to learn from and grow from the experiences we have, then it's an ally, because it's showing me stuff that I hadn't seen before, right? But but if not, if I'm not trying to, if I'm not taking the information in a way to be growing from it, then Pluto can totally not be my ally, right? And it actually can represent more of a hiding information than revealing. So it really depends on who we are. It really depends on where we're at, what our intention is in life, right? Astrology is always like that. There's no one size fits all in astrology. Trust me, there isn't. So, but yes, these are the potentialities of this full moon. I think it's really, really useful and productive for us to just be radically honest, to be very, very honest with ourselves in terms of what is my role in this situation, right? Like, is my anger towards another person, or fear or anxiety towards a situation, or whatever it is that is presented to you for you, um, is that other people's, or the world's, or society's, or anybody's responsibility, or fully, or do I have responsibility in it? And I think this is just like the basis of life. Like, we always need to be taking responsibility for everything, because that's the only way we can actually achieve greater peace inside of us and feel more fulfilled, right? Like, we always have a role to play, even if it is just, like I was saying earlier, even if it's just um not accepting certain things. Like, you can definitely, this full moon again highlights relationships. Libra is about relationships, Aries as well. They're just like two sides of the same coin. Aries is about me and what I know and want, and what my decisions are, where I am going, and what I need in my life, and my awareness of that, my awareness of self and who I am, um, which is, yeah, being reconstructed, like I was telling you guys earlier. But Libra is all about the other, so, and therefore the balance. So yeah, I think that's the most important things I can tell you guys about this full moon. I'm already reaching the 30 something minute mark here, so I think I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you all for joining, and I just want to make a few announcements. I have two announcements to make, actually. One of them is that I was just um, a guest in another podcast, which is super exciting. It's called the Hunting for Purpose podcast. It is the podcast of Holly Marie. She is the creator of the Manifestor community, which is a specifically, it's a human design space, which is fascinating. By the way, if you haven't explored human design, I highly, highly recommend. Like, don't just stay with one thing. Astrology is great. It's tremendously powerful and insightful. Human design is as well. So I highly recommend you explore that. And so I am a manifestor in human design. So I found this place, um, trying to learn about it, and thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for being here. That's lovely. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Your Libra rising and your husband is an Aries rising. That's awesome. So you guys are having their full mooning each other. That's great. That's beautiful. There tends to be connections like that in couples, by the way, like sun moon rising. There's always like really striking connections between uh in partnerships. So that's lovely. Um, so yes, what I was saying about this podcast that where I was the episode was just published yesterday. I basically tell my whole story and how astrology and music and human design have been tremendously transformative for me in my life and in finding myself and how they have helped me. And so that podcast is out and it's amazing. I feel so happy to be a part of it because it was like a dream come true to be a part of the Manifestor Community podcast. I couldn't believe it. And the other thing is that I just made available my Cosmic Calendar bundle. So this is honestly my most complete ever resource put out to the world yet. Um it's great. It includes both 2026 and 2027. It includes three things. There's a calendar that shows all of the things happening every single month. I mean, not all of the things. That's one of the key aspects or key things about this calendar is that it does not have everything. It's not overwhelming. It has only the most important stuff. And but you will be able to see the moon sign and phase of each day in the monthly calendar, obviously the new moons and full moons and eclipses. It has the Mercury retrograde marked by week, like when it enters shadow, when it is retrograde, when it goes out of shadow. Like you will never not know when there is Mercury retrograde influence in the world, and the most important astrological aspects happening as well. And then besides the calendar, you have a guide which has all of the interpretations of every single new moon, full moon, eclipse, but also all of the major, most important transits, even more than what the calendar shows. So you get like a monthly explanation of the energy of the month. And it's just really, I've worked on this for months. So you get access to the entire 2026 and 2027 calendar guide and a bonus kind of like in there that is like just like it's almost like a poster. It's one thing that you can definitely print if you want, that has all of the planets and when they change signs and when they're going into retrograde. It's like this thing I use it a lot. Like I'm using that map all of the time. It just has made my astrologer life so easy. So I highly recommend the Cosmic Calendar bundle for anybody that wants to live with the cycles of astrology and you don't want to be just like googling the things all the time, or you don't want to be waiting for the posts to come out. You just like have your calendar and you have your guide and you can just go and read the things whenever you want. Also highly recommended for astrologers and astrology students because I did the work for you. I put all the dates there. You don't need to be like looking them up. It's there, like in the map, especially, and in the calendar. Like you don't need to be looking, oh, when is Saturn going retrograde again? It's there in the map. When is, what time is it the full moon happening? It's there in the calendar, so there's so much information in the guide. There's so much information in the calendar. The guide is currently 40 pages long and it's updated until October of this year, but it will be updated all the way till December 2027. So everybody that is a Cosmic Calendar bundle owner will have for sure all of 2026 and all of 2027. So yes, those were my announcements. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I love you guys. Life is life. I hope that astrology can support you. I hope that it can be that friend that tells you, it makes sense what's happening to you right now. Because that's how I fell in love with astrology. It gave me a mirror to see myself, and it gave me this context to understand my life cosmically. It's like, oh, okay, it makes sense that I feel so lost right now. I'm in my Saturn return or whatever, right? Like, it just makes life a bit more bearable, I find. And I love astrology for people that are growth oriented, that are just trying to learn, just trying to be students of life. Astrology is such a good companion for that. So happy full moon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.